Welcome back to JB Trio Podcast. We're back for season 5, episode 1. Lee McDonald Jr.
Christopher, the OG comeback kid, Woodmansey.
Mark, the ancient warrior merchant.
And we're back for season 5. We've got a new league now. We are summer officially. We're 2-person on a team. And we have got 12 teams. We've already bowled 2 weeks. We took a week off, vacation time. Everybody went on a trip somewhere. We did good.
I went to Cabo, Mexico with Josh and Kat Wedding. They're also a former JV Trio bowlers here.
That's right, friends of the league.
Yes, very close friends, especially to me and myself and Lee and you and your family. They had a wedding on June 9th, and it was in Cabo, Mexico, and we went there June 8th, stayed there for 8 days, 7 nights, and I got sunburned and a tan very well. Camille did too. And it was all inclusive for adults only. All you can drink, all you can eat. And yeah, we were on the ocean, we were on the boat, we saw the Love Arches, we drank a lot, we ate a lot. Dinner, food was amazing. Seafood was amazing. I mean, if you try to buy yourself a ribeye, a steak, that's like crazy expensive out of your pocket. But other than that, most beautiful place in the world. Congratulations to Josh and Kat. I love you and stay together forever. Josh, don't get married again. Yeah. Other than that, that was mine.
Oh, awesome. I saw a couple of pictures, and I even saw one of you doing a cannonball when y'all went swimming at the pool.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Those are some stories behind that, I heard.
Well, the only story is, they told me that all are friends, and I'm the kind of guy who doesn't scare down a, like when someone tells me, oh, you're not going to do it, you don't have the balls to do it, I'm like, okay, watch me. And they were like, oh, don't do it, because they didn't want to get wet. It was cold. It was very cold water. And I'm like, I'm still going to do it. So I did cannonball right in the middle of all the friends and people who were sitting out on the chairs. And yeah.
How come when I said you don't have the balls to get in Christian's monster truck, you do it? Do it.
I don't think the balls have anything to do with that. I think that I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. That wager has yet to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's an old wager, too. I think that's from back in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I can't remember.
I think you're right.
So, Mark, you went on a trip as well.
Yep. Went to the USBC Open in Reno. What a disaster.
Bowling, you mean, or everything?
Yeah, I mean, look, I opened up, and we had team events on Saturday at 6:00, I believe, and I opened up the team event with a 114 game.
Oh, wow.
And the series ended up being a 422.
Oh my God.
I'm going to tell you, one of the most difficult shots I've ever been on. I mean, I tried everything. And it's just a struggle. And then the next day we had doubles and singles, which was, I would say, a lot better for me, more in the mid 500s. It was a tough shot out there. And I would say that Neil, Gil, Ron, and Neil's buddy Fred, and I would say, they fairly did okay in the team event. But when it came to doubles and singles, they struggled a little bit more than I did on the next day for doubles and singles. But I'd say out of everybody, the only one that came out really scoring some decent cash was Gil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he hit it pretty good in the teams, I think, the day before in brackets. Did pretty well, won like $600 or so.
Oh, wow. That's very well.
Yeah, he may have invested 200, won 6. Then the next day he won about a little over 100 the next day, or $80 or so.
There we go.
And he might have invested a couple hundred. So came out on top in brackets. Yeah. And I got to say, as tough as the shot was, Ron, he managed to come out averaging over a deuce. I think he just barely made a 200, maybe a 202. But of course, he's going in with like a 207, I think it was average, or maybe a 202. So he wasn't over his average. And man, I don't know if you guys have ever been out there, but bowling in the USBC Open any of the years in Vegas, Reno. Oh my God, is it gives you a whole new appreciation of what pros bowl on. I mean, it is really a tough shot.
Yeah, I've heard. Is it oily? A lot of oil?
Yeah, like the first day, oil long. It was a long oil pattern. Really tough to get your ball to get out of there and score. The next day, the next day for doubles and singles, the oil pattern wasn't as long. So once it broke out of the oil, you could get a little bit of rotation on your ball. But man, that first day, I mean, you just couldn't get any rotation out of your ball enough
Dang.
to score heavy. It was a struggle.
How about that? Yeah, Nationals usually is. And how long were you out there for?
We were out there. I got in on Friday. Ron got in on Saturday. We bowled Saturday. So I got in on Friday and left on Monday. It was pretty sad because Ron and Gil was supposed to get out Sunday night, and they canceled his flight because of bad weather here in Dallas, I guess. So the next flight Gil was going to be booked on was Wednesday, and they could only get him on a Wednesday flight. So here he is, supposed to leave on Sunday, can't get out till Wednesday, didn't have a room. So he ended up sleeping in our room overnight on two chairs, basically.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and then he flew out in the morning to Vegas instead of waiting until Wednesday. He flew to Vegas and then got on another flight to get to Dallas. Yeah, and Ron had to book another night at the hotel and got home on Tuesday before bowling. You know,
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah,
man.
it was brutal. And
Talk about
and
jet
then
lag.
yeah, and then Neil had like maybe a 6 hour layover in Phoenix on his flight out.
Oh, gee.
So it was just brutal all around as far as the flight goes. But
Yeah, Neil has no luck with flights at all. I think he had problems on the previous trip before that.
yeah, so we had a lot of fun. It was in Reno. We gambled a little bit. We went out. We went to a comedy show. We made the bowlers proud at the comedy show.
Hey, there you go.
So it was pretty good. And actually, Gil set us up for the comedy show for free. He met the guy, one of the comedians, at breakfast at his hotel one of the mornings, and Gil got us set up for free tickets for the comedy show that night. So
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Holy
yeah,
crap.
worked out pretty good.
Dang. Sounds like a hell of a weekend.
Were y'all talking about a lot of 10 pins?
Yeah.
They
No.
probably didn't hit the pocket enough to leave 10
Yeah,
pins.
we didn't. If it was sixes and sevens,
Ooh.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It was tough. I mean, it was tough. I'm trying to work on. I think my average now is about a 173. I think now on all the nationals I bowled in. So I'm working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I heard next year they're going to have it in Vegas. So it was Reno
It'll
this
be
year,
yeah.
Vegas next year. I've actually already got some invites for next year.
Yeah,
So
me
I may
too.
have to-
Joey texted me about it.
Oh, did he really? Okay, we'll have to get some teams together, maybe.
Yeah,
But,
Joey was talking to a bunch of people. Yeah, you ought to
Yeah,
go.
he
I mean,
was.
it's in Vegas, and it's a great opportunity to bring your wife and just gamble and
Exactly.
give it a shot. You know what I mean? And I didn't do too well the first day on brackets, but when we had doubles and singles, I did fairly well. And a little bit of gambling, I did well gambling. So all in all, it paid for itself. But
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, it's a fun
Yeah,
time.
not too bad. So that was the
Yeah.
reason why we took 2 weeks off, but just kind of nice
Very
to
exciting.
reset. To just introduce the league, we ended up with 12 teams, like we mentioned. So for the first week, we just did our normal schedule. Team one, bowls team two. We had our annual team meeting. It went through pretty smooth. We just discussed our records. Oddly enough, no drama or
What?
no changes to the rules. We just
Oh,
sat
okay.
down and we just voted on the rules, and everybody decided to keep it the same. Pretty standard meeting.
I'm still president, so.
Yeah, we're all still still the
that,
secretary.
that was the only thing that was probably touch and go right there was the president.
Yeah, I did hear a few lock him up or impeach him.
Oh, you heard that? I didn't hear that.
But other than that, yeah, it was a standard meeting. But yeah, so we posted our scores. I finally got our scores able to be posted on bowl.com again. I even posted some of our end of year scores for the previous season and put some of the guys' bowling, whatever they call them, the stats, the end of year stats.
Oh yeah,
So I did find a way to post something besides the standing sheet. So if you guys want to take a look at how you guys finish and see how you bowled every single week, your high, low series and stuff like that, and go back to the previous fall season and take a look at that. And then this new season, we started weeks 1 and 2. Can't quite remember what happened during that first week, but I do have the results of the second week. For the first pair of lanes, we had Team 4 bowl against Team 5, which Team 5 is Ricky and Team 4 is Peyton. And that's where we probably had the most excitement on that particular pair.
Oh, what happened? No.
Because what happened was Peyton had bowled a very good game that night. He wasn't even supposed to bowl.
What, like
He
160?
he is bowling with Camilla, which is Chris's wife. She's decided to come out of retirement and try to give this bowling thing another shot. She's hoping to take first place because she definitely wants to beat her husband Chris. And she recruited a damn good bowler too. And so Chris, as you guys heard, went out of town with his wife for his friend's wedding. They were gone all week, so they were going to plan on pre-bowling this past Tuesday. Well, Peyton really wanted to bowl, and I told him on the way there, I said, well, Peyton, if you want me to get a sub, we'll text Chris and Camilla. We'll let them know we're going to get a sub. What ended up happening is we did text you guys. You guys gave us your blessing, and we recruited Larry Babineau. So him and Peyton together form a hell of a team, and they bowled up against Ricky. They won 12 out of 48, so they lost.
Yeah, we should never give him our blessing.
Wow.
But they ended up having a great night because, and there's video proof on our Facebook page. So whenever there's video proof of something, you know something good happened. Peyton Estes bowled 300, his first ever. So he bowled good. The video was very fun. We all had a fun night that night. It was his first ever. He only ended up bowling 693. He didn't even shoot 700. So I gave him some guff about that. But we all had fun. Very awesome that he bowled this, and it is his first ever. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to watch it,
Congratulations.
it's on our Facebook page. Yeah. But the only thing that didn't happen so good is Ricky. Yes. Thank you very much, Mark. But the only thing that didn't happen so good is they didn't win. So
Nope.
you guys ended, or I should say, Camilla's team ended up losing, but Ricky bowled really good as well. I guess he was motivated by Peyton. So Ricky ended up bowling around like 640. So they had a lot of good scores on that pair.
And this was the third 300 now that we've had bowled in the last 2 years or year and a half, right?
Well, I
In
think
Jan-
as of 2020 or as of 2023, it's our third one we've had so far. 2 in the fall
Yeah.
towards the end from Ron and Jared, and then Peyton now.
And Chris wasn't there for any of them.
And just coincidentally, Chris was either out of town or just got sick.
Yeah, faking sick.
Yeah.
Had a slight fever, and then decided not to bowl.
So he still doesn't know what it's like to be there watching somebody shoot a 300 game.
Oh my god.
That's true. That's very true.
That's
So
true. That's a true statement. But
Chris missed it for all 3.
I mean, in a way, you're welcome. I mean, basically, it wouldn't happen if I was.
Really? Really?
So-
You would have been back there with the choke sign.
So if Chris takes a week off, hey, we all got a chance.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. If I take a week
yeah.
off, that means there's guaranteed 300.
It must be something with the podcast curse or something, because there's always one little trick to these things. It just so happens Chris is gone that week. Somebody shoots a 300, and it happened 3 freaking times. It's like, how does these things happen? So the next pair we got was Team 6 against Team 2. Now that was Team 2 is Chris and his new partner Austin, and they did post bowl that week, so they post bowled Friday. And on our standing sheet, we don't have the scores down. I'll get those entered next week after our week 3. They bowled Team 6, which happens to be Neil and Kyle. So they formed their old team, the We Deliver team. So like last summer when we had season 2 JB Trio podcast, We Deliver is back. So they are Team 6. They bowled Chris's team, and it turns out Team 2, Chris's team with his new partner Austin, as we discussed towards the end of the previous season, kicked some butt. They each averaged around 650, and they beat up on We Deliver. When I put in the scores, it's going to show Chris's team taking 30 that night off of them. So
Yes, sir.
they did
And
good.
And I think they're officially going to now bowl on Friday nights.
Yeah, on Friday.
Every week.
Yeah, just
Every
Friday.
week.
Just like, I don't know what
Officially.
happens, Chris. Every time he post bowls, even when he bowled with a great Titanic team, they ended up winning. So maybe that's the key.
Yeah, just Friday nights only.
So that was that, and then so the next pair was Team 12, which consists of Matthew Macy and Brian Brimmerman. So another former Titanic goes out and recruits another bowler from, I think, Matthews from Friday nights. He's currently sitting at a 183 average, and they ended up winning. They beat up on Team 3. Team 3 is made up of my son Leland, who branched out of our team, which was the Joey Robbed. He branched out and he formed his new team. He's bringing in a close friend of his, Brianna. She's never bowled in her life, but she has been averaging higher than what I'd expect without bumpers. She's averaging close to 80. So that's actually not bad for her. And with our
No.
handicap, she's getting a lot of handicaps, so she's doing all right. But they lost. Brian's team ended up beating them by 28. So 28 out of 40, 28 out of 40, excuse me.
Now, did the Matthew Macy bowl this week? I know I see that he has 3 games. So did he bowl this?
That's a good point. I don't remember if he did. That may be so. If he only has 3, he may have only bowled week 1.
Yeah, I think he did.
Somebody may have come in to sub for him. It may have been George or somebody, because we got 2 sub. Or excuse me, Christian. Christian come back. That's right.
Yeah, I think I saw Christian down there.
So Christian had sub for him. Christian, who normally is the bowler from Titanic, decided to take the summer off, but he said he'd be available for subs. And we actually needed him already in the second week. So Brian gave him a call. They formed the partial Titanic team, I guess the good part of the Titanic. And they ended up winning. So maybe that'll be a trend if he wants to reform the Titanic.
Yeah, they did much better than the time when they were with that other Joker.
Oh, who Joker was that?
I don't know. He may have went on a wedding trip just recently.
Did he? Oh, was it Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking about me. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they broke a losing streak, right? The Titanic, right there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey Small's been on a winning streak. Yeah, Mickey Small's been averaging 30 points a week right now.
Oh yeah, that team 2, Biggie Smalls. We'll go over the teams and stuff like that here afterwards. The next pair, Team 9, which is going to be
Bedrock Bowler.
Brady Bunch, yes.
Brady Bunch.
So Jared and Gilbert from the old Brady Bunch has formed a team, and they are called Bedrock Bowlerama. And they ended up losing to Team 11. Team 11 is good friends of the league back, Jake and Phil. So from season 2, that was last summer. They are now back. I can't remember their team name, but they are back and better than ever. They are really bowling good. They have. So this is Chris's former proteges that he recruited personally, brought him to the bowling league and brought him and introduced him to bowling. And they went all out, bought all new equipment. They have been practicing a ton. Philip especially has upped his game from where he finished off the summer league a year ago with a 140 something average. He ended up bowling in the fall, I believe, on Thursdays, and averaged somewhere in the 170 range. And then now for the JB Trio League for the first 2 weeks, he's now averaging 203. So
I know this. I'm going to say that team right there is going to be in a world of hurt the next few weeks.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are.
They're going to be in for a world of hurt.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I mean,
yes, they are.
You know, they are 61 pins over their entering average.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they ended the average with Jake with 146, Phil with 173.
Yeah,
and they're each of them are about 40 plus pins over.
Yeah, they're 61 pins over as a team. They're going to be in for a world of hurt coming up.
So basically, they are bowling a lot better than what they should be or what their average says. And so
Exactly.
that means
Exactly.
that they are not going to get the handicap that helps a lot of teams. But if they keep up the good bowling, they might not need it. So we'll just have to wait and see. Can they put their money where their mouth is? We'll have to see.
No, they can't.
Well,
No.
why? Because they're your former proteges.
Yeah,
You
and they're
guys,
gonna
No,
you
you
guys
know,
left.
they're gonna
and
crumble.
yeah, and when we get into beat Mark's picks and we see what the spread is on the team they bowl this week,
Oh, it's
it's going to be ridiculous. Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting. So they won. They beat up on Jared and Gil. They ended up winning 32 out of 40. So we're no longer at 48 because we're only 2 out of team. So we're at 40 points total. So they won 32 though, which is a
Yeah.
pretty big mark.
And look at I will say I got to give them credit. The first 2 weeks they're like lights out, killing it.
Oh,
I mean, record
They're
of
taking
seven,
full
seven
advantage of their handicap.
yeah, a
Taking
record
full
of
advantage.
72-8, and they are. If I had been them, I might have put it. I might have like instead of going all out once they
Sandbag?
had a
Sandbag?
50-pin league, I would have put it in neutral. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I think so. Some people would call that sandbagging, but that's
Oh, it's sandbagging. No, you said it
that.
right.
I mean,
It's
there's a
sandbagging.
form of
You
sandbagging,
said
but then
no,
there's a form of
no.
bowling.
Is it? Is it though?
Like makes
Is it
sense
though?
or something.
Oh, no.
But it's
Sandbagging is sandbagging.
Yeah, but let's give them a
um,
lot of credit. Though they really have been bowling great.
Have
You
they
they
know,
though?
really have. They
yeah,
really
they have. Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I don't see it lasting.
Yeah, me either.
that's a lot. That's a lot of big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Me either.
Big shoes to fill. No pun intended. All right. So the next pair, my team number one, which is me, and I happen to have recruited Greg Carlton, whose team ended up kicking my ass and becoming league champion from the fall league. So Good Frame Gentlemen and myself have combined to form a new team. We haven't come up with a team name yet, so we're
Ball
just
gaggers.
team one. Yeah, exactly. So we ended up forming a team, and we didn't do too bad that second week. First week we bowled Chris's team, if I remember right, and Chris's team kicked my ass.
Smart.
And bowled bad doing it.
Yeah, they did. Everybody bowled bad that
They
night.
bowled bad,
Those lanes were bad. I'm sorry. Those lanes were hooking a lot.
Yeah,
and that was 31 and 32, right?
Yeah, those are my favorite
his
pair in the
favorite
house.
pair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our
Yes.
team, we ended up coming back. We fell behind throughout the whole night, but when it came down to the third game in the 10th frame, the very last frame of the night, we finally overcame team total, and we beat them 28 out of 30. 28 out of 40. So we made a comeback, thankfully. So that kind of puts us at a respectable 40 and 40 overall. So we got lucky. But the other team was Team 7, which is Mike Ensline, who has come back. And he found a partner who is new to the league, Cody. Cody, he's a two-handed bowler, but he's trying to go down to one. He did partial one-handed throughout the night, and then he ended up just giving up and going back to the two-hand. So he didn't like how he started out. He really likes to try to bowl anywhere in the 200 range, but he only ended up setting around a 170 average. Kind of tells you how he's been bowling the first 2 weeks. Not the best, or at least not to what he expects to be at. Mike Ensline, who has bowled pretty good, he's actually averaging close to 170, which is higher than his expectations have been. So he's coming back. He's representing the team. Ricky and the two mix.
Yeah.
So he's representing that team. They are now called Stay in Your Lane, Bro. I have no idea where that name came from.
No one does.
But unfortunately, they did not win that second week. So they lost. They only took 12 out of 40. So that was them.
So is Cody better as a two-hander in your mind, or?
Oh, yes,
Or
without a
one.
doubt. He
Okay.
still has a lot to work on one hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot better.
But it's night and day. I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably a 160 bowler with one hand, maybe higher. He just maybe had a bad night. But definitely with a two hand, I saw at least a 30 to 40 pin difference. I mean, he could easily average 200 with two hands. And I hate that people kind of shame others. I think people may have shamed him into trying to go one handed. But if you can bowl great either way, just bowl your whatever's comfortable for you is what I tell
Yeah, like maybe with the bumpers up.
them.
No.
I don't think we had any gutter fluffer action this week. I think it was all
No.
clean so far. And then we get to that 31-32 pair. Finally, we get to Mark's team. Uh-oh, who's that? Oh, we have a new guest.
Yeah, sorry, my kids went to go surprise me with more gifts.
Oh, look at that.
Sorry.
I hope they got your new bowling ball.
Yeah, after they dropped
those
it,
new,
yeah,
toe curling shoes.
yeah, those are amazing. You should get you some.
Oh, and at the time of taping, it's Father's Day 2023.
Yes.
So happy Father's Day, everybody out there. This is our Father's Day edition.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yeah, all three of us.
Yep. I mean, except for Mark, but he got his in I think he got his kids in prohibition.
I'm
During
still
the
not a
Prohibition era?
look at I'm still not a grandfather yet.
Oh, hey.
No.
That's what I'm hoping to be soon.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll happen for us one day, maybe.
Who
Peyton?
Peyton or Lily?
I have no idea. I'm not placing any bets on either one of them, to be honest. I'm probably not going to be a grandfather till, I bet you out of us three, I bet you, I wouldn't doubt if Chris is a grandfather before me and Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to take 15 years, maybe more, for even Chris to be a grandfather. But that's probably, I mean, with my two kids, the way they live, and I don't know how Mark.
Leland already got a girlfriend.
Well, we think we don't know yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but all right. So this last pair involves Mark. It's our last two teams. Team 8, which is Mark Team 8, which is Gary and George. So Gary representing Good Frame Gentlemen and George, who was our sub for the fall, have formed a team. Let's roll against Team 10. That'll be Mark and them, Mark and Ron. They're from I'd Hit That Better, I think is what you guys were.
Yeah.
What happened on your
It
pair?
should have been the old people.
The old.
Yeah. Well, you guys, like you guys said earlier, those lanes are horrible. I mean, one lane was like bone dry. The other lane was dry as well, but not as bad. But I hated to lose like we lost. I mean, this was exactly what we did the week before when we had faced Gil and Jared. We lost the first two games, killed them the second, enough to cover total, and we kissed our sister 2020. But this week was the complete opposite. It was like, took the first two games. We're looking like we're going to take 30 or better. And then we got killed the last game, lost total, and practically ended up kissing our sister. Again, 22-18. We lost 22-18. So I hate those nights where you take two and then you give away that third game and it's enough to kiss your sister, you know?
Exactly.
That's what happened.
And unfortunately, it goes in the loss column under Beat Mark's picks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it does.
And I'm gonna.
I bet you picked yourself.
Yeah, I did not, and I'm gonna tell. I did pick ourselves, and I'm gonna tell you, I think high game the last game for any four of us might have been like a 170.
Oh, jeez.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah, I mean that pair.
That pair has become very tough to bowl on.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if Chris has cursed it with being that it's his favorite pair, but yeah, it's definitely. And even Chris kind of showed up that night when he was out of town. There was a phantom foul. Mark throws the ball. I'm looking over at Mark. I think, well, I'm on 29-30. I'm looking over. He's walking back from the approach, and it was a good 10 seconds after he threw his second ball, and the foul light goes off. And of course, we all the whole league screams, "Chris!"
Yeah, they did, and everybody's looking around. I didn't know what was going on. I could not believe it was my lane. Yeah,
it's almost like Chris was laughing at you with the foul light sound.
Yeah,
wow.
Heard it, and everybody was looking for Chris, and it's like everybody looking around for Chris.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what happened that second week. Ups and downs, kiss your sister, fouls. But to go over our lineup for the whole league, we have Team 11. That is Jake and Phil. Their team name is Mind Like a Goldfish. I have no idea. And they're the team that's currently at 72-8.
For
Team
now.
6.
For now. You have to say
What's
that.
that?
For now. You have to say for now.
For now. Oh, I go. Okay, yeah. And Team 6, which is Kyle and Neil,
And that will change.
on the sheet, it has them at 40 only because they bowled Chris's team. Technically, that's not right on the sheet because we have not entered their Chris's post bowl scores, so they will be dropping to 40 and 40. So technically, the team that's in second right now is Let's Roll. That is team number 8. And so that is Gary and George currently sitting a team at second place. They just got finished bowling Mark's team. And so they had a good first week and they had a pretty okay second week. And currently in third, now they are on the sheet as looks like they are 10th, but they're really going to be bumped all the way up to third, which is Biggie Smalls. Yes, that's Chris's team. They're going to be at 58 wins. 50, yes, Biggie Smalls, and currently in third place at 58 wins. So when we enter their pre-bowl, or excuse me, their post-bowl, they'll be at 58. Team 4, this is Peyton's team. Peyton and Camilla. Don't ask me where they come up with this name. Barbarian and the Elf Princess.
The Elf Princess. Because
No, it's
she's
not even
married.
princess.
No,
I
not
spelled
princess.
it wrong.
Not
apparently.
princess. It's princess.
Yeah, I guess
Princess.
it's better.
Oh, okay.
I better say pin with a P because if I say incest, that's good.
Yeah, it's like incest.
That's something else.
It's like
so
incest,
Barbarian, or
And, you know-
Barbarian, and the Princess.
Oh, okay. When I saw Elf, I thought it had something to do with she being married to the guy with the elf shoes,
Oh yeah, the
curled up
curled
bowling
toes.
shoes.
Yep,
Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. The pointy toe shoes.
Princess, huh?
The incest.
Princess.
Yeah, Bulgarian and the incest.
So they are currently in fourth. Team 1, which is my team, no team name yet. We're at 40 and 40. We're in fifth. Rolling with Mom. I'll give you 2 guesses who that team is. That's Ricky's
Gary
team.
and Ricky. Yeah.
No, it's just Ricky and his mom. Ricky and his mom have formed a team, Team 5. They're at 38 and 42. So they're in sixth. Team 10, no team name, but Team 10 is going to consist of Mark and Ron, and they're currently at 38 and 42. Bedrock Bowlerama, Jared and Gil, they are team number 9, sitting at 28 and 52. Not a good start for them. I think they'd be a bit higher. Team 12, also at 28 and 52. Matthew Macy and Brian Bimmerman, they actually lost all the points the first week, so for them to be at 28 and 52 is actually an improvement. That's good for them. We can skip Biggie Smalls because they skipped. They're back in third. In 11th place is Ya Boy, which is Leland and his friend Brianna, who's the new bowler. They're at 22 and 58. And I kind of warned them that this would be kind of the start that they'd have to expect. And then we've got Stay in Your Lane, Bro, which is Team 7. Has not had a good start. That's Mike Ensline and Cody. They are currently at 12 and 68 because the first week they lost all 40 points. So 12, they gained it all in the second week. So maybe they'll have a better shot at this the next week.
And for those 4 teams that have not given a team name yet, if they don't do it next week, we give them their team name.
I like that rule. I think we did that last fall, and everybody all of a sudden come out with a team name.
Yeah. So that means Lee, your team and my team will have to come up with a.
We better.
Yeah, and then I guess I thought who's team 6? Is that Neil and Kyle? Yeah, I thought they mentioned they had a team name. Might have to text Kyle what that team name. Yeah, text him what that team name is. He mentioned something to me last week about what their team name. They do have a team name, I think. And
I'll
then
make sure it gets entered.
Yeah, and then Brian Bremerman, we'd love to name that team. If he with the team name next week, I'm sure Chris would love to name that team. Yeah.
Oh yeah, his favorite name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we could just call him the Titanic Part 2 or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love that.
No, he wouldn't.
Do you know who had maybe the Woodmansey last week, or who was the bowler of the week?
Woodmansey was actually Peyton because he bowled 300, 170 something. So, so the rule that we have, if you bowl 300, but you have to have within your average, he was way under. So he is Woodmansey of week 2. week one, I don't think will count because everybody's kind of set an average and
Right.
bowling new. So Peyton is the Woodman Z of week two.
Hey,
Yeah, any high
What the?
aside from the 300, any high series scores?
Not much. Gilbert shot 658. Ricky shot 650. Ricky was bowler of the week, 143 pins over his average.
Nice.
So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
What's really irking a lot of the bowlers is how we being pushed out of that place by 11 o'clock. And I mean, they are pushing us to finish the third game, closing the bar down, making announcements on, on the loudspeaker. It's getting to be a little much. I think I'm hoping tomorrow I'll talk to Amber about it, but it's just crazy how, I mean, you don't even get a second to sit down after you finish bowling with them trying to push you out of the place. And it's crazy because, they want to shut the doors at 11. I mean, it's ridiculous. And sometimes we're halfway through our last game at that point. And then once we finish, we don't even have a chance to sit down and figure out how the night went. Never mind with them screaming that we need to pack it up and get out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, got really bad last week because George and Gary weren't happy. Neither was Ron and myself. And it's just starting to carry over to a bunch of other guys as well. And we're league bowlers that have been there for years, paying faithfully. And they just they don't give us any grace at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. It's
right.
tough to bowl.
It's
tough to bowl when you feel that you're being overlooked or neglected. So
neglected is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad enough last week when we had to have them clean our tables and there were peanut shells all over the floor. Me, Jared, Gill, and Ron had to wait 3 times for them to clean up the mess. They just do a half-assed job, and something needs to be said. You know what I mean? And I plan to say something to Amber. I guess she's been out of town or
she's been
on vacation, and I don't know what's going on there on Tuesday nights, but they're just driving us out of there, Lee. It's just getting to be a little rough. I mean, they basically kicked me, Ron, and Kyle out of there last week. And they were on our heels, pushing us out the door.
I know, and it's not like the employees are looking to leave anytime soon, but because they get paid if they stay, they don't clock out until the last bowler's gone.
I'm outside in the parking lot. I'm out there for a good hour in the parking lot, and they haven't even left yet.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so I think if you put your vice president hat on of the league, maybe sit her down, maybe have her sit down at the table with you while you're bowling, air some grievances for us and represent the league and tell her, hey, this is how all the guys feel. It's bad enough the transition from the early league to the late league is bad in and of itself.
That's
nobody
right.
Cleaning tables and we're not getting started on a timely fashion. And I know we discussed this in the towards the end of the previous season.
Yeah.
But the transition has got to be better. It's just got to be better. I mean, cleaning tables is one thing, but just making sure that our lanes are turned on, making sure we're bowling in a very smooth transition rather than what's been happening. I think I would like to see that brought up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be down there tomorrow afternoon. Mm-hmm. And if Amber's there, I'm going to be talking with her. And
she should
like I said, yeah. And I don't know what is going on that they're on our heels to push us out the door. And then they're not even gone an hour later. They're still in there. What are they doing?
Oh, I know. Exactly.
I just don't get it. And it's not like we're a new league that's just walked into the house for the first time. We've been there for years. You know what I mean? And treatment we're getting on Tuesday night is just uncalled for in my mind. And so I will, without a doubt, say something.
I agree. As a board member of the league, I'm definitely behind you all the way.
No, I second that as well.
Yes, sir. One other thing on that, Cody, who is one of our newer bowlers, he was really wanting to see the house do the lanes before we start bowling.
Oh my God!
And I already told him that that's unlikely only
Oh,
because
yeah.
the time frame. They would never be able to get the 12 lanes oiled and stripped and everything conditioned in time. I mean, it takes them
Yeah,
an
to kick us
hour.
out. Yeah, they couldn't do all that and kick us out by 11. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
They couldn't pull it
there'd
all
be no
out.
way.
Yeah.
But maybe if I don't know even know how you would even bring that up to her, but I think he does want to discuss that. And again, I think she would be able to just tell us there's just no time to do it.
Yeah, I'm really good acquaintances with Brody because I just have that charisma and like that personality. So I try to make my enemies really good friends. Like because like if he can control my bowling and my happiness at the bowling alley, I want to be friends with him no matter what. He might be a dick, but if I can get special treatment from him, yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
me and him are great good friends, like good acquaintances, and I'll
Maybe
try
that's why
talking
he's
to him.
giving us a hard time and kicking us out.
Well, he told me
Seriously.
actually. He actually told me it's a different story on Friday. He told me that on Tuesday he started the league early. Like, it was like 9 o'clock when he started the league on time, and no one was ready to bowl.
We all know that that's not true.
That's what
Yeah.
he told me. He said to my face, like, "Yeah, I had the lanes freed up by y'all by 8:50."
It was normal starting. We didn't start till about 9:15, 9:20. Having a hard time cleaning up the lanes before we're done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And believe me, we got 20 other bowlers that'll back it up. But
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And, I know we only have two on a team
No.
now, and we're still getting out at 11 or close to it. But, there may be some guys that want to stick around and have fun. I mean, it's
Yeah.
socialized night.
Yeah, and it is tough to swallow when, you see the hours posted as 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they're kicking, they say, oh, yeah, well, look we have all these empty lanes, so we're going to close early. I mean, the fact is they're pushing out people that walk in and bowl. You know what I mean? So we might want to stick around and bowl our 2 free games or even more. And then there are other people that who knows how long they want to be there and they're kicking them out. You know what I mean? So look at if they're going to post it to be open at 12, they should be open at 12. I don't care
Yeah.
how many people are there.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening. You know what I mean? And of course they're going to get no open bowlers there when the open bowlers they have there, they're pushing them out at 11, making those announcements. They
Kind of
need to
makes you think.
change. Yeah, I mean, they need to change the hours if they're really thinking about closing at 11 every night and then hanging inside the bowling alley till 12:31, and getting paid for it, doing whatever they're doing.
Exactly. And they stuck around, like you said. And,
They
maybe
do.
it was just during that week that she was off. Maybe it was just something that they were doing. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to say something. Like I said, I just don't get it. Welcome to a new season of Beat Mark's Picks. Last week was our first week of making the picks.
Come on, baby, come on.
The results were not good.
Oh,
Lee and Mark, 2 wins, 4 losses.
Dang, Lee and Mark.
Lee and Mark.
We had the exact same
We
pick.
had the exact same picks. We go 2 and 4, and Chris 4 wins, 2 losses.
Oh no!
Get it, son.
For the first time ever, he has gotten a lead.
Oh my God! I can't believe it.
Get it,
He has
son.
He has gotten his first lead ever and beat Mark's picks, and we've been doing this now for what, 2-3 seasons? He's got his first lead.
This will be our 3rd season, and probably I'm trying to think of how many episodes we've done this in. We probably had a good 50 episodes.
Wow, first lead ever.
And 50 episodes in, he's got his first lead.
Well, we've got to have to do something, Lee, and turn this tide this week because we can't have Chris beating us after the second week picks. This could be rough.
Well, I mean, it is new getting all these teams formed, and whenever we bowl and start a brand new league, a lot of the guys are still using book averages and averages from the previous fall season. But after 2 weeks and those locked averages are gone, you're now on your current average. So just like we talked about, the few guys that are either way too high for their average or maybe some of them are low.
Yeah.
But now you are bowling on your regular average. It's going to be an interesting week 3 to start out with. Team 9, Bedrock Bowl-O-Rama, which is Jared and Gil, bowling against Team 3, which is your boy, which is Leland and Brianna, which brand new bowler, Brianna. Leland, whose average is actually a little bit higher than what he normally is. I think it's at the 176 range. So he's normally in the 160s.
Yeah.
Now he's in the 170s.
When I look at this match, Leland's 11 pins over his entering average.
Yep.
Brianna averaging 79 for first time bowling. That's pretty good. So
It is.
So you got to say they might be a little bit above what you would expect right now. And Jared, he's under his entering average by 14 pins, while Gil is over his by 14. So it's pretty much even. But the spread in this game is 135 pins. 135
like 2 against
pins.
4 almost.
Yeah, 135 pins.
Wow.
Damn.
And when I look at this match, I think Jared and Gil are pretty much where you would expect, one outside of one being up 14 pins on his average and the other down. It's just, to me, that's net even. So I think Leland, he's bowling above his average, and Brianna, you just don't know yet what you're going to get. I have to take Bedrock Bowl-O-Rama in this one myself.
Yeah. I'm looking at it the same. I mean, the gap between scratch and handicap, average in my eyes always is the advantage of the scratch bowler or the bowler with less handicap, only because if they hit their average and the other team hits theirs, you're only getting 90% of the difference. So to me, that gives the advantage to the scratch bowler or the higher average bowler in most cases, or the percentage wise. You know what? In this case, though, I've got to say I'm really leaning towards Leland's team because Leland has yet to bowl one of his 600 series just lights out games. He's yet to have a lights out week, and Brianna getting all those pins.
Yeah.
She only really needs 1 or 2 spares.
Yeah.
And she's already way above her average. So that is just too much chance in my eyes. And I know Gil and Jared are great bowlers. I'm gonna go for your boy. I'm gonna go for Leland's team this week.
Yeah, and I hear you, Lee, because if Brianna can get 2 marks with some decent fill, she's gonna be well over her average. You know what I mean? Like right in there.
Yeah.
That does make a difference.
I mean, you make some good points here, but no, it's not gonna happen. Lee and his girl are gonna get too distracted, and no, they're not gonna do good. So the opposite team.
Bowl-O-Rama.
Bowl-O-Rama, yeah.
All right. So 2 for Bowl-O-Rama, and I'll pick Leland. All right. Next pair, we've got my team against Team 10. So Team 10, is that Mark? That is Mark. Mark and Ron.
It is.
So we got a podcast bet going. So Team 1, which is formerly partially Good Frame Gentlemen and Joey Robb, consisting of myself and Greg, against Ron and Mark. Formerly, I'd hit that better.
Let's have Chris shoot this one first.
Yeah, go first.
I hit that better. So Mark and Ron, and who was the other team again?
Formerly.
Yeah. Formerly. Who was the other team name?
It's the battle of the team names. It's Team 1 against Team 10. Me and Greg against Ron and Mark.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna do. What's the pin difference?
The pin difference is 10 pins.
Oh,
10.
Okay. I mean,
Basically a mark.
Lee is he could shoot great or shoot bad.
Yeah.
But when you shoot great, it is fucking great. Got it. You have it. What's your past 2 weeks been? What's your point system? What's your average point? How many points y'all been averaging?
How many points have I been averaging? You mean points?
Like your team, like your first.
We're at 38 and 42.
we're pretty much at 500. Yeah, we
That's
went
better, better.
20 and 20 the first week, and 28 and 32 the second. So pretty much at 500 both weeks there.
And we are a 500 team. We're 40 and 40. So it's about as even and close as you can
Yeah.
get. 40 and 40 for us, 38 and 42 for Mark.
And if you want to look at it, we're down 18 pins from our entering average. And Lee, you guys are down 7 pins from your entering average.
Yep.
I hate
So
that.
both teams are less than when they started out.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, it's this is going to be the match of the. This is probably the closest match of the week. Honestly, I could
It
see
is
another.
possible.
I could see another Kiss Your Sister night.
All right. I got Mark and Ron. God damn, I need to wash my mouth out.
Well, I'm going to surprise you with my pick. I'm also for Mark and Ron, but because of one slight difference, Mark and Ron have been out of town and have bowled the hardest shot in the world, which is the national shot. And so I think they usually, when you bowl on a shot like that, you kind of come home and bowl a lot better. Kind of like what Mark said at the beginning, you get a different perspective on how your bowling game is when you bowl on a really tough pattern. So I think they're going to come home and bowl lights out. And I know they bowled last Tuesday, but that was all the jet lag and just coming in town the same day as they're bowling. So I don't really count last week as that. I think this is the week that they now are relaxed and are lined up and remembering bowling and nationals and how they bowled bad there. So I think they're going to bowl much better here. So I'm going to pick them to kick our butts this week.
Wow. There we go.
One thing I didn't mention is these last 2 weeks, me and Ron did not have our bowling equipment.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, kid. You
We
shipped them
did
off.
not.
Wow.
Yeah. So Ron was using a ball he doesn't not normally use. I took a ball out of my garage and have been bowling with that. For the last 2 weeks, we haven't had our equipment. So I think that made a little bit of a difference in the way we bowled. So I'm going to go with our team. I think finally getting our equipment back, and it'll be the first week bowling with our regular equipment. We can maybe read the lanes a little bit better than we have been the last couple of weeks.
Even more reason to pick your team.
Yeah.
So next pair, we've got Team 11 against Team 4. That is Peyton and Camilla, Team 4. They are that Ball Baron and Elf Princess against Team 11, which is the first place team, Jake and Phil, Mind Like a Goldfish. So this will be an interesting pick, especially the spread. How does the spread look?
Yeah. Oh, this spread.
What the spread is now?
This here is the easiest match, easiest pick of the week. The spread here is the spread here is 1 pin.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
What?
1 pin.
Wait, to who? To who?
Yes.
To who?
Jake and Phil are getting 1 pin.
And that's
one
against Camilla and Peyton.
Right.
Peyton, who's just now coming off a 300 game.
Yeah, I'm taking.
He also got the Woodmansey.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, he got the Woodmansey.
I am going to take the Bulgarian and Incest.
Really?
Oh yeah.
No, that's Peyton's team. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is really easy. I mean, look at Jake and Phil are 61 pins over their entering average. I mean, I give them a lot of credit. That's great. They've been bowling terrific the last 2 weeks. But look at, they're bowling a veteran in Peyton, who he killed it towards the end of the Winter League.
Yes.
And then he just got off a 300. He's finally got his, you could say, princess or princess back. That's
incest.
Definitely incest. Yeah, that's definitely a motivating factor. They're going to rock it. I mean, I see this being a no doubt win.
This is going to be interesting for Chris because it's his former proteges. I know they may have ended on bad terms or, fake bad terms, but it's picking that or picking his wife. So, Chris, who are you picking?
Fuck me.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
That was the recurring joke we had all night last night during poker.
Gosh. Oh my god, one pin. I know how Jake and Phil is like competitive and
Yeah, Chris and them bowl. They see him every Friday night.
This can't be any easier.
yeah, but
Any
but Phil won't be here. Phil won't be here this
Oh,
season.
Phil's not going to be here. We didn't know
No.
that.
Yeah, he's out of town for work.
Are they post bowling?
Well, we don't know that. They're trying to get Joey to sub for Phil.
They're trying to get Joey. That makes it interesting. Mark, you want to keep your pick?
Yeah,
Joey's
yeah, I
also kind of
definitely
a
do.
veteran.
If
Yeah,
they can't
no,
get
I got-
Joey, if they can't get
Yeah.
Joey, then they're post bowling. They're post bowling if they can't get Joey.
Yeah, like look at even if they did get Joey, I'd stick with him. I've seen how Jake bowls with Joey because I think I've seen them bowl on Thursday night. I'm still going with Peyton and Camilla.
Okay.
One pin though, like fuck.
One
Well,
pin.
that'll change though if Joey shows up. Probably not by much. Maybe it'll go from one pin to
To go the
6
other
pins.
direction. Well,
Yeah.
it might go in the other direction. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chris,
Oh.
It
you're
doesn't
ahead. You got to make the pick.
All right, I'm going for my wife's team.
Oh, all right. The
Yeah.
ball bearing and incest.
That's a hard one. That is a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, really, what it comes down to is, like, Camilla's getting 50 pins handicap, and Peyton's getting 0, and Jake and Phil was 36 and 15, so that's 51.
Yep.
So that's where they were getting the extra. But at Joey Bowles, Peyton and Camilla will be getting pins.
That's right. Maybe not much, but that's still a difference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Peyton's team. Riding that 300 high, there's no kind of high like it. So I think he's gonna continue his hot streak. So like Mark, I'm going with the ball bearing and incest.
Yeah, that just seems to me like the easiest pick of the week.
All right, next pair. We got Team 5 against Team 12. So that's Ricky. Oh God, that name. Rolling with Mom against Team 12, which is Brian and Matthew Macy or Christian. You never know. They don't have a team name yet. So Team 12. What's the spread on this?
27 pins, Ricky and his mom again.
Really? And Ricky coming off Bowler of the Week, bowled 140 over. I think his average was 193. Oh my God.
He's 12 pins over his entering average. His mom is down 7 pins. So
yeah, she kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, they're +5 as a team.
So not bad, not too
No.
bad. And then Team 12, they're about what they're. Well, Matthew's a little higher,
Well,
but Brian's
Matthew,
is lower.
yeah, Matthews, he's only had 3 games, so you just can't. You don't got anything there.
Oh yeah, that's right. So he's going to stay at that.
Yeah,
he's
Brian.
He's staying there.
Right, Brian's down 10 pins.
You know what? Based on that, I'm actually going to change my mind. I was going to go with Ricky's team, but because I see he's at a lot higher average than what he normally does, and since Matthews got still only 3 games in instead of 6, and he's going to be bowling on that locked average, I'm going to go with Team 12. I'm going to go with Brian and Matthew Macy.
Dang.
Chris?
All right.
Yeah, so I went for Brian and Matthew Macy last week, and they ended up pulling it out, but it was actually Christian. But I think Brian is back in action with everyone having their handicap adjusted after going against the Goldfish team. I think he's back, so I'm going to stick with my Brian.
Stick with your Brian. All right.
And I'm going to go with that team as well. So that's a plain sweep. And unfortunately, I have the same pick as Chris for the first 4 matches here. That's not good.
Hey, Chris has got a winning record.
Yeah,
Yep. I'm playing smart. I'm just gonna keep it with Mark. Whatever he picks, I'm always gonna beat him every week.
I can't gain ground up.
Yeah.
All right, so this next match, Team 8, though, is Gary and George. Let's roll against
The
Team
Titanic.
2, Biggie Small.
All right,
Biggie
I'm gonna
Small.
go last.
Chris.
This is one I'm going to have to wash my mouth out with soap.
So
'Cause I'm going to have to take Team 2.
Yeah,
Team
who's that?
8 is in
Who's that?
second, and Team 2 is in third.
Wait, who's Team 2? Who's Team 2? Mark. Who's Team 2?
AKA Titanic.
I mean,
AKA the money shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Money shot. I'll take the money shot. I mean, there's a lot of other names I'll take.
Yeah. I think the spread in this game is, let's see here. Yeah, it's 39 pins, and that's taking your pretty much your updated scores that you had from Friday night. So, hey, yeah, that's another thing to bring up. Are you guys bowling Friday night or Tuesday night?
We'll be there Tuesday night.
Okay. Tuesday night, when one pair removed from 31 and 32. They're going to be like 206, somewhere in there, but I had them listed as like 25 pins,
Okay.
Yeah.
25 pins handicap.
Yeah, that's what I got too. That's why.
And that's what their entering average was.
Yeah.
Was 25, I think. And kind of what I got them averaging once you factor in a 650 series to what they shot the week before,
Yeah, 'cause
so
if you take Chris's 590 that he bowled the first week,
right.
and 650, that's 1240.
Yeah.
And I think 1240 divided by 6, that's about almost 210, not quite 210.
Yeah. So they're going to be,
That's the same.
that range. Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
be in that in 64 pins for Gary and George.
Yeah.
This is a tough match.
It's
No
still
doubt
my
about
team.
it.
It's still my team.
And again, it's George, which is in second, and Chris, which is in third. So it's a pretty good match, almost position
Yeah.
round like.
You know what? I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to take. I'm going to take. Yeah, that soap didn't taste too well, so I'm going to go back to
Is that even legal?
Gary and George.
Is that legal?
Chris, you talked me out of it. I'm taking Gary and George.
No, I don't think that's legal.
Yeah, once you said you were bowling Tuesday night instead of Friday, that made the difference.
Yeah.
So I got Gary and George.
I'm going to have to go with Chris's team only because, just like when I discussed at the beginning with the average difference, the higher averages are, in my opinion, have an advantage. And both of those guys, I remember I projected at the beginning that they would be the first place team. They aren't that out the gate, and they could get there after this week. So I'm going to stick with that pick and go with Chris's team.
Good pick, man. Good sir.
I thought you'd like that.
You chose right. I'm choosing my team.
Oh, obviously.
Easy pick.
Okay.
And then lastly, we've got 31-32. This is going to be Team 6 against Team 7. Out of those two teams, Team 6 has no name. Neil and Kyle, formerly We Deliver from last summer, against Team 7, Stay in Your Lane Bro, Mike Ensline and Cody, who have struggled as of late, but Mike Ensline has kind of held up the team. But Cody has now officially got his average, and now that we're unlocked, it depends on what Cody does. If he comes out two-handed, just kind of gives up the one-handed during league, I would just work. Cody, if you're listening, I would work on that during practice for right now and stick with the two-hand because it's a world of difference. You're a really good bowler with two hands. And so since that's kind of a mystery and we're more familiar with Kyle and Neil, really good bowlers. Kyle's been bowling lights out. Looks like the spread is it's going to be definitely a lot towards Team 7.
57 pins.
Oh,
57.
You know, I'm leaning towards Neil and Kyle, but that's a lot. And it looks like Neil is bowling a lot higher average than what he's been accustomed to. But you know what? I'm going to stick with those guys. I think We Deliver is going to deliver.
Damn. What's the pin again?
57 pins.
Damn, nothing.
I bowled on 31 and 32 last week. Turns out to be that same type shot. I don't think it's going to hurt Mike Ensline. And I think Cody might be done bagging it using that one hand. So he might stick with the two-hander now that the 2 weeks are over. So I think he might go two-handed, and Ensline, I don't think the shot won't affect him. I think it's going to be a struggle for Kyle and Neil, possibly. If that shot's anything like it was last week, just knowing how all four of us bowled on that pair last week. So I'm going to go with Mike Ensline and Cody in this one and take the 57.
Awesome. All right. And then now we've got Chris, our last beat market picks of the new season.
And you say
Neil
Cody
and Kyle. You always say Kyle's a mystery ball.
Yeah.
Neil and Kyle against Mike
is
Ensline.
Is this guy going to shoot what he normally shoots? Like this guy's gonna.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he said he's from out of town. He's only bowled here in Louisville a few months, but he is definitely a bowler. He's got all the equipment to back him up,
Really?
but he's just trying to transition from two hand to one hand, and so it really is kind of a mystery what's going to happen with him.
I got Neil and Kyle.
Oh, that could be good. You mean that's just more of a
Safer
safe
bet.
pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
safer bet. It's a safer bet.
So there it is. There's our first episode of Beat Mark's Picks. So that was definitely interesting and the interesting weeks to come. We've got 12 weeks this season. We'll probably get maybe close to 10 episodes for this season 5. I'm hoping to get 10. Try to keep on it every week.
Yeah, and so the way it looks is you'll bowl every team once, and
Yep.
then you'll have 2 position rounds. So it's perfect.
It
You
is.
know?
And then we have our sweeper week the very last week. So yeah, it's going to work out perfect, I think.
And then the last thing we want to happen is that we have to change this from Beat Mark's picks to Beat Chris's picks.
It could
Yeah.
be.
So
That's
we
gonna be
need-
glorious.
3 or
thing.
4 seasons.
Glorious.
Mark
thing.
has won them all so far.
yeah, so it would be a shame if that has to happen. We'd have to get rid of the segment altogether.
Chris, what would you name it?
OG.
You could name it like Chris always beats Mark.
Yeah, Chris always beat. No, Chris is better picks.
Now,
Chris-
let me ask you, what's the OG mean?
Original
God.
G.
What is it?
Original G. Gangster.
I thought it was oh God.
Yeah, that's it. Oh God.
no,
That sounds better.
definitely not it. Mhm.
So bowlers of the week, we talked a little bit about Ricky bowled 143 over average, a 650. Honorable mention to Peyton with a 300 game, as well as Greg Carlton, who bowled 94 over, and Brian Bimmerman 86 over. So not too bad of scores this past week, but we'll get more interesting scores now that all the averages are unlocked and we're using our true average. For the ladies, we don't have many lady bowlers, but Brianna bowled above her average, 24 pins over. So
Yeah.
good job to Brianna. She's bowler of the week for the ladies.
Congratulations, Peyton. You still suck though. But, thank you guys for a first episode on the summer of JV doubles. Stay tuned for my team, the Biggie Smalls, to come back as we win this whole summer and get a plaque from Tracy Howell and take our first pictures as winners. And stay tuned and the upcoming name change of Beat Mark Picks in the future. So please come back and stay tuned to the podcast because you will see me making the comeback kid statement come true. If you do not come back, you will be like Peyton, shooting 300 games, a terrific thing. Get in the Woodman. See you in the next game.
You want to check out Biggie Smalls? Go down there on Friday nights. Yeah,
Yep.
you won't see him on Tuesdays, but you'll catch him on Fridays.
If you don't see
Every
me
so
on
often.
Tuesdays, there will be a 300.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. All right. That puts a wrap on episode 1, season 5. Thank y'all for listening. And gentlemen, we'll see you on Tuesday night.
Yep.
Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's
Day.